Okay, what we're working on today is this Buick Rendezvous. If you remember yesterday, or in the last video I should say, when I changed the filter, the transmission filter, we blew a brake line, which happens. Called the customer up. Always make contact with your customer if you're doing this for a living, or if you're just starting out. Make contact with your customer and let them know what's going on, because there's nothing like not calling them and they show up and their bill is more than probably what you told them. They're going to be really jacked. Just a word to the wise. So I called him up. He's fine with it. And the weird part of all this is I've never seen a vehicle with a brake line on the right hand side. Normally they all run down the driver's side. But right down here, as you can see, is the leak. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go over to the workbench. I'm going to show you what you need. Explain a little bit about brake line. And a little bit about flaring and what all you need. And then we'll go under the vehicle. So I'll catch up with you here in a bit. Okay, here's what you're going to need. First thing you're going to need is obviously brake line. There's two different types of brake line. I suggest that you get the better stuff. This is the steel stuff. And believe you me, when you get in a tight spot, you'll kink this stuff. This stuff does not bend, but it does like to rust out. I've seen this stuff last a year. Garbage. Spend the extra money. Get your copper coated nitrate line. This stuff you can bend any which way you want to bend, and it doesn't do that. I mean, you really have to be trying to kink it to kink this stuff, and it's so simple to flare. Then you're going to need a 7/16 and a 3/8 wrench. This is for your barreled fitting to splice into the other line. These are a little pricey, but they're really handy and they're legal, at least here in PA, for inspection. I don't know about your state or where you're at or whatever. Check your codes. Then you're going to need your flaring tool if your line is not already flared. And then you're going to need a 1/2-inch wrench to use the nuts on the flaring tool. Okay, that's what you need. And then obviously you need brake line. And it does help to have somebody help you bleed these brakes that knows what they're doing. If you've got somebody that don't know what they're doing, you know, I pump my brakes 3 times, hold it, crack the bleeder, and tighten the bleeder, and then pump it up again. I've had people that's helped me that's pumped it up, and I'll open the bleeder up, and they'll release the pedal. Well, that just completely went against what I was trying to do to begin with. So make sure you have somebody helping you that knows what the heck they're doing. And not only that, I will show you a way to do it yourself. There's actually 2 ways you can do it yourself. One is gravity bleeding, and the other one is a vacuum pump. So I'm going to try to show you both those. Maybe only one today, depends on the time. I don't want this video really long. So I will get back to you as soon as I get under the vehicle to show you what's going on, and then we'll go and replace this brake line. Okay, we're under the vehicle. Right here's where the line blew. So what you're going to want to do, unless you want to replace the whole line from the back clear up to the front to the master cylinder or to where it connects, you're going to want to splice into this line. And what you want to do is you want to find a good place to splice into this line. Right here looks like fairly decent line right there. looks clean. It doesn't look rusted. So I think that's where I'm going to splice into, I think, unless I can find a better place. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the whole way back to the back wheel. And then that way I know it's good from there to there. See, the problem is at the factory they put this stuff, the spring over this stuff. And let me zoom in on that garbage. And what that does, if you live in a state where it snows, it collects rust, salt. It ruins your lines. And people in the factories love that, because you take it back to the factory and they have to fix it, or they fix it, and they make money off you. So that is one of the dumbest ideas I've ever seen, is putting this stuff over this. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it, and we're going to splice it in, and then we're going to run it back, and I'll show you how to run it back to the back wheel, and then we're going to bleed it. So I'll get right back to you. Okay, change of directions again. This guy wants it done the cheapest way he possibly can. Well, I found out another way. And I don't mind saving somebody some money if it's safe. The rest of this line looks great. There is a compression fitting right here. So, believe it or not, this actually comes loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it from here up to here and use my ferruled fitting is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get my tools, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, first thing we're going to do is take our tubing cutter. Not that we probably have to. This line will probably break on its own, but I don't want to break the other line by accident. So what we're going to do is we're going to screw that on there. Make sure you got it in the groove, and keep turning it around if you've never used one, and tighten it up, and there, got it. Now, what I did was I loosened this up, this nut. So believe it or not, that nut come actually loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over to the workbench, and I'll show you what I do with this stuff. And we're going to show you how to flare also. Okay, first thing you're going to do is, if you don't have a pair of these pliers, they're made by Vice Grips, get a pair. They're right around 16 bucks, and they're well worth it. But what we're going to do, as you can see, is we got some lines sticking out. So we're going to come over here to the bench grinder. We're going to grind that. We're going to grind that flush. Keep looking at it until you can see where it's pretty well flush. If you have to, use the side. And that looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the drill press. I'm going to put a bit in, and I'll show you how to drill this out, and I'll show you how to flare. We'll get right back to you here in just a second. Okay, what you're going to do, if you don't have a drill press, you can use a vise and the drill, a hand drill, no big deal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill this line out. As you can see, there's a hole in the center. Put your drill bit down through there. Clean that hole out very good. That way it screws real easy. And that's pretty much all there is to getting that line out of there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this line into here, just like so. Might have to bend it a little bit here and there, but I'm going to just screw it into this union. Should screw right in, and it does. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here and see how much line I actually need in order to do this. You're going to measure that line back and see where you need to be when you cut that line. I mean, you can always cut it too long and wrap it around or whatever. And that does work, especially if you got this line here. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll get right back to you and show you the rest of the process. Okay, this is how your ferruled fittings work. You take your end cap, which I'll show you here, which is this piece right here. You're going to slip it over just like this, thread sticking out. And then there's a little ferrule that's going to slip into that brake line right in between your cap. I don't know if I can do it one-handed. Just like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get your other end, which is this piece right here, the two-ended piece. And I'm going to have to crawl under here a little bit further. And you're going to have to shove that back in there, just like that. And then I'll get back to you once I get this tight. Okay, what you're going to want to do is tighten that up, and then the other line's going to be hooked in the same way. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to tighten these up as tight as you can get them. 3/8 goes in the center, and then you're just going to tighten these up as tight as you can get them. And that ferrule crimps around that line, and it does a really nice job. Good seal, and these are like $4, $3, but they work really well. Now, this line back here, which I'm not sure what size that actually is, so I'm probably just going to use my vice grips if I can and tighten that up. And without tying the lines up, I don't tie the lines up until I'm done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my vice grips, tighten this up, and I believe our flare will be good. It looked really well. And we're going to tighten that up. Like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some brake fluid in it. We're going to pump it up. We're going to see if we got anything leaking. And then I'm going to show you how to bleed it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add some brake fluid. You're going to take your cap off and get a small funnel. Make sure your funnel's clean, as clean as you can get it. Just go ahead and put it down in there, and we're going to add some brake fluid. And these master cylinders are really hard to see into. Very hard to see into. I like to make sure you just keep an eye on it so you don't overfill it. If you do, wipe up the mess. If it's on a customer's vehicle, if it's on yours, you don't care, don't worry about it. And it looks like we're right there. So I'll get back to you when I bleed it. Okay, what we're going to do is get inside the vehicle. We're going to pump it up, and we're going to go over to the other side, see if we have any brakes, or see if we have any fluid running. Make sure you pump it easy, or you will blow another brake line. Now let's walk over to the other side and see what we got. See if I tightened everything up enough. Okay, nothing dripping. We're good. We're good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this line up. I'll use zip ties is what I use, and tie your line up and make sure you don't kink it or anything like that. And I'll get back to you when I get ready to bleed these. Okay, I took the back wheel off where this line goes, and believe it or not, you can see this bleeder. It looks horrible. It came loose. Awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up. We're going to take the master cylinder cap off. We're going to loosen that bleeder up and let the fluid come back on its own. It's called gravity bleeding. Make sure the front end's higher than the back. And it should start running. But we'll see. There's a couple different ways to do this. But what I like to do is have somebody help you, pump it up and bleed it. But I don't have anybody here today. So, as you can see, it's starting to come. But it will start running out. Matter of fact, it is right now. Yeah, it is right now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a second way of doing this by yourself, because you don't need somebody to help you do this. And I'm going to have to get a little bit situated because I have to use my other hand. So, I'll get right back to you. Okay, the second way of doing this is, sorry about that, it's called the vacuum pump. And what you do is you hook your hose onto the bleeder, make sure your bleeder's open. It will actually suck the brake fluid. As you can see, there's a little bit of brake fluid in there right now. It'll suck the brake fluid out and the air, and you can bleed it by yourself. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set this back down here again, and I'm going to hook the line on like so, and I'm just going to squeeze the handle. Make sure you got the brake. There we go. And then once you do that, you tighten it back up. And check your brake pedal and see how much brake pedal you got. So let's go see how much brake pedal we got. Well, actually what you have to do is put your master cylinder cap on. Check your brake fluid, which it's full. Put your cap back on. Make sure it's on good. Then you're going to walk around the vehicle, and you're going to get inside and listen to this dinging, and you're going to pump that brake pedal up and see what you got. And as you can see, that's all the further I can push it. So I got a good brake pedal now, and hopefully no leaks. So let's take a look at see if we have any leaks. I don't see anything dripping down there, so I think we're good. So I hope this helped you guys. That is how you change a brake line. That was a fairly easy one. Some of them are not that easy. And one more thing, I'm going to take you over. And show you the brake line that I use. This is it right here. I buy it in a 25-foot roll. So, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Sorry about the dinging. I forgot to shut the door. So, but thanks for watching. Hope this helped you guys out.